is lost and gone, and it won't come back. It won't come back. Affections come and roll right off your shoulders. Turn away, it's like you're sleeping, but you're not sleeping. And I cling on to this tightness in my gut, and I find it strangely sacred that I tasted just a little bit of blood. Why so sweet to play the victim in this crooked night, distracted by another kind of villain? So take it back, just take it back now. Take it back to where we both belong. We can win, we can win, no, we can't win for fear of losing. So take it back, just take it back now. Echo from our mouths and from our hearts have been revolting, revolting. They hang up in the sticky air between us, ostentatious in their meaning, oh, and demeaning. And this battle may have only just begun. So is this all that I can muster? Just staring with you straight into the sun. All this time has made me weary of another one, praying I won't soon become your villain. So take it back, just take it back now. Take it back to where we both belong. 'Cause we can win. No, we can't win for fear of losing. So take it back, just take it back. Remember what you know. Remember all those happy homes we built. Remember while we're here, it's nothing like a rolling stone gone still. Maybe you're right, maybe there ain't nothing that happens for a reason. But I got plenty right here. We both got plenty right here. Take it back, just take it back now. Please take it back to where we both belong. Take it back, just take it back now. Take it back.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been together for over a year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But, do you guys feel like you found your sound yet, and it's, or is it something that's still developing?
That's a good question. We actually were just having this conversation not too long ago. I think we're still developing it. I think in your first year, we've definitely solidified something, and I think the songs that we've been creating in the last few months are definitely kind of moving more in the direction of what's our sound. And I was just talking with a friend of mine, because I grew up, my idols that I listened to were like Sarah McLachlan and Tori Amos, and the first couple bands I was in, my music sounded a lot like them. And that was a great compliment when people would say, you sound like Sarah McLachlan. And I'd be like, yay. But now it's kind of like people are like, who do you sound like? And I'm like, that's a good thing. Like when people can't necessarily peg exactly who I sound like, because I'm hoping that as I've gotten older, I've started to establish my own voice and who I sound like. So I think that we're definitely coming into our own and we're starting to figure that out. I don't know if a band like you ever really find your sound, because I think you see a lot of bands that change up their sound after a few years. They might put out a record that's completely different. Whether or not it's as good as what you originally fell in love with, who knows, but that's kind of the fun part of doing music, is it's an art form and you're constantly evolving and constantly changing. And I think that we're kind of starting to move into that direction of what our sound is as the local strangers.
Yeah, we're really excited about doing a full-length record
Yeah.
This spring.
And I think we're excited that we didn't do it right away, because we recorded a 4-song EP, which we love all 4 of those songs, but they were all written like in the first month of us knowing each other. And again, still getting to know each other as people, let alone as songwriters. And so now the stuff we've been writing, it's just, we're really excited to put that on a record. And I think it'll be different than the first few that came out.
Do you discuss image at all? Like in your first video about how you want to be perceived musically or otherwise?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we talked about aesthetic really early on. We talked about aesthetic before we, had 6 songs.
That was some good advice Matt got from a fellow musician in Seattle about branding and establishing yourself as a brand, because really when you're a musician, you're a product. And it's such an ugly way to say it, but you are, because you're selling yourself basically.
And it's not a bad thing. It's not implicitly a bad thing.
And so we kind of, I think for me in particular, I had been working on an image in my head just for a long, I kind of knew what I wanted my music to look like visually. And luckily when I met Matt, and I kind of was like, this is kind of my thought. And he was like, yes, like we were both on the same page, which was really nice, really early on. And for us, a lot of it started, we did a photo shoot with this amazing photographer who I had seen pictures that she had done of a friend when she was pregnant. She'd never shot a band before. And I was like, will you shoot us? And so she did it. And that kind of set of pictures really sort of established our image and kind of our aesthetic that we kept leaning towards. And it's continued to kind of evolve in that direction. So. Yeah, we definitely discuss it. We discuss what Matt's going to wear. We
decide what Aubrey's going to wear and then discuss what I'll wear.
No, but I mean, it is a piece of it. I mean, it's not like obviously the biggest piece of it at all, but it definitely is a piece, because a lot of times when you're looking at somebody, it's that whole idea of 20%, 80%. It's 80% how someone says it and 20% what they say. So I think if you've got both, it's a great thing. It's definitely not the most important, but it's a piece of it. So.
And that's like. Again, that was like, we did that photo shoot. We had our very first show about this time last year. And then the next day we started recording our EP. And sometime that week we did that first photo shoot. Mm-hmm. And if anyone's, kind of trying to, whether it's an artistic project, whether it's film, music, whatever it is, if there's kind of some entity or some company that you're trying to kind of start or kind of get off the ground, that was kind of deciding the feel of it and deciding the look of it, even before there was really that much content, was really, really helpful for us. So we already kind of like decided on a font and kind of decided what the album cover was going to be in 4 months when it was done. And so when we were first starting, we were able to kind of establish that, and we would be able to be recognizable even when we didn't have music yet to be able to share with people. Did you have a follow-up question?
What is the aesthetic that you're going for?
Oh, it's kind of like modern vintage or like modern.
It's the oxymoron, right?
Yeah.
I love vintage everything, as you can see. We've got these suitcases that we travel with our gear and stuff. I love thrift stores. I'm so excited to go shopping after this and go downtown, because I heard you guys have some really awesome vintage stores. But I just have always loved that, and just the genre of music we're in, people classify as Americana, which is kind of classic. So yeah, I think our own spin on vintage, and a good chunk of it revolves around my wardrobe. But then again, the photo shoot that we did, it was in the fall, and it was just these beautiful kind of fall colors, very earthy, very natural, and that's kind of our font that we have is sort of vintage inspired. So I think that's kind of our thing.